Good evening, I'm Gadi Schwartz, coming to you from Los Angeles, and the tariff wars have started, and the phones are ringing off the hook at the White House with U.S. manufacturers hoping to get carve-outs. We've got the details on some of those phone calls as car makers get a little bit of a break, but cars, those are made out of steel and aluminum, and it looks like those tariffs are not going anywhere.
Under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one.
Then the White House tells us it is now holding direct talks with Hamas and threatening hell to pay. We're going to tell you what that's about. Then big city mayors on Capitol Hill getting grilled by lawmakers.
Are you selling out New Yorkers to save yourself from prosecution?
There's no deal, no quid pro quo, and I did nothing wrong.
And looking at the future, exoskeletons are here, and we are taking one robotic step at a time. Those are just some of the stories we are following. There's so much more to unpack tonight. So let's get going because this is Stay Tuned Now. We start tonight with trying to figure out who are our trade partners and who are we getting heated with as the White House and President Trump start to reshape so many of the U.S. economic ties that have defined global trade as we know it. Both longtime U.S. adversaries and allies are now facing new tariffs that officially took effect yesterday. So how are things playing out? Well, it is still too soon to tell. But in some cases, President Trump already seems to be backing off with a break for the auto industry for 1 month. Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis will be exempt from tariffs imposed on Mexico and Canada. Now, that decision coming after the car makers called up the White House. Here's their pitch.
Look, we're domestic American automakers, and if you put a 25% tariff on us, and you don't put it on the Germans, and you don't put it on the Koreans, and you don't put it on the Japanese, you're helping everybody but us.
Okay, so that's what it took for the so-called Big Three. And take a look at what it did to Wall Street. It went up, then down, then up again, a little bit of a yo-yo there. It's only Wednesday, and north of the border, it is a full-on go on the tariff front. The phone call between President Trump and Trudeau was apparently not enough for the White House to ease up on anything yet. Here's what Trudeau is saying to the American public.
We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you.
And tough tariff talk on the other side of the world is getting pretty ominous. China straight up saying it is ready to fight tariffs or any war till the end. Here's NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer on the ground in Beijing with one Chinese tech leader just a few hours ago.
Should China worry about U.S. tariffs?
We never worry about it.
Why not?
Yeah. We only focus on ourselves, how we can do much better. We don't worry about others.
So you don't worry about President Trump's next moves?
Of course. Nobody worry about it.
All right, now leading us off is Bob Davis. He's a freelance journalist, former Wall Street Journal senior editor who covered international relations between the U.S. and China for years, along with the global economy. Welcome. Thanks so much for being with us. Let's start with this phone call and this exemption. It seems like there are a lot of audibles being called these days. What are your thoughts on this 1 month exemption for the Big Three, and what is that going to do to the phones at the White House?
Well, you can see what happened. The stock market went down. Trump made an exception. It's as simple as that. It wasn't necessarily the calls from the Big Three. If you want to see what Trump's going to do, watch what happens in the market. You know, those tariffs on U.S. companies, on U.S. automakers are just unsustainable.
Interesting. So you're saying that like this is not necessarily the phone call. He's watching the stock market, whatever that does, he's going to call an audible based on that. The White House is saying there could be similar deals in the works. What other industries or companies do you think, I don't know, could be next?
Well, take a look at the tariffs on China, for instance. So I covered the last trade war, which was 2018, 2019, in the first Trump administration. They were very careful to exempt most consumer goods because they were worried about the reaction. This time, it's 20% tariffs on everything. that means your iPhone's going to go up 10 or 20%. Your computer's going to go up 10 or 20%. Increases that you'll notice. It's not just a toy going up by $1 or $2. You're talking about $100, $200. You'll see that. I think that's an enormous pressure point on the administration, and the Chinese know it very well.
And so, I mean, when we're talking about how drastic prices could go up, 10%, 20% on those goods, is that where you think it'll peak, or do you think it could go up even further? And when they do these prices spike all of a sudden, or is there somewhat of a slow burn?
No, the prices go up. I mean, all of a sudden there's 20% tariffs on, let's just talk about iPhones. There's 20% tariffs on iPhones. If an iPhone costs $1,000, well, then it'll cost $1,200. What I've read from some of the analysts is that it probably won't be a 1-to-1 pass-through, but sort of a 1-to-2. So, 10% increase on iPhones, and it'll go up immediately. It's not as if these costs are being slowly added to the cost of producing an iPhone. It's all of a sudden slapped on top of it.
Which would explain all the very long lines at Costco yesterday. Bob Davis, thank you so much for joining us. And turning now to the tariff war, to actual warfare in the Middle East. A little bit ago, the president taking to social media to threaten Hamas, saying he is sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you do not do as I say, and telling them to release all hostages or there will be hell to pay. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., pro-Palestinian demonstrators took over a building at Columbia University protesting the war in Gaza and support of the Israeli government. We're told police have just cleared that campus after a bomb threat in all of that chaos. Now let's bring in NBC senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, where do things stand right now with the remaining hostages?
Well, it is certainly a tense situation, and there has always been some questionable intelligence about, are they getting the best information about their well-being, the location of those who have died, where their remains are, what the U.S. hopes to get back and Israel hopes to get back. And so right now, what really is standing out is that the president has allowed for direct U.S. engagement with Hamas, and that stands out because typically the U.S. does not deal directly with a known terrorist organization that has that kind of designation. So that is notable. And clearly the president is trying to put pressure on Hamas to respond to Israel and the U.S. and to move the process along of restoring families who have been separated since October 7th, more than a year ago. And so this is a tense situation. We know the president says he is giving Israel all of the munitions and support that it needs to carry out and, in his words, finish the job, and certainly putting pressure on Hamas to take action. Gadi?
Did it look like this was a plan that's been, I don't know, being worked on for a while, or did this all come to a head like right after he met with families and people that had been taken hostage today?
I think both can be true. Certainly the issue has been one that predates President Trump coming back into office, and so it's been on his team's agenda and certainly something he's been working on. But then when you add the dynamic of direct personal contact with family members and survivors who went through this, that obviously has a lot of impact on the president, and he is known to use those sort of interpersonal relationships and events where he is meeting with people, where there is video of him doing so, as we saw today with families that were in the Oval Office with a meeting, those who had been released, that can be a catalyst for him to take action and for others to respond.
Yeah, no mincing words in that post. Meanwhile, this has all been a very, very busy day of news at the White House, as it always is now. There were a lot of confusing headlines that were coming out after some recent cuts by DOGE. I saw the CDC, they're bringing back a bunch of scientists. They fired the USDA. They are pausing a lot of the layoffs that we're seeing there, too. Is this all case-by-case basis? Like, what's the read here?
Well, it is a sweeping attempt to reduce the size of the federal workforce, to roll it back a number of years. Some of that is going forward, but the administration is running up against some key things. Legal challenges where judges are saying this isn't lawful or you have to put a pause on this. And in some instances, we're seeing a kind of doubling down by the administration, where the Veterans Affairs Secretary today talked about the fact that they are going to eliminate as many as 80,000 positions, wanting to reduce the overall size of the agency, an agency that's mission is to care for veterans, to provide them health care and services. So there's a mixed message. They're getting told that some of the actions they've taken are not lawful. They're reinstating some of those, and they're evaluating at times where they find that there might have been people let go who are providing vital functions, and at the same time pressing forward, saying more cuts are to come. Gadi?
It explains all the confusion we're seeing. Kelly, thank you. And some big news out of the Supreme Court that's left some foreign aid workers breathing a sigh of relief this morning. In a 5-4 emergency decision, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration must pay former USAID contractors for the jobs they completed before their jobs were cut by Elon Musk. Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Angela Sinandela. Angela, so many people have been looking to the Supreme Court for some clarity on what DOJ is allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. If you just glance at, I don't know, some of these headlines for this story, you might think, oh, here's the Supreme Court blocking DOJ from making cuts. But is that the full story here? What's really happening?
Yeah, so look, this is really just a procedural battle that is so early that I would say it's almost like the Supreme Court stepping a toe into this mess and not yet really making any precedent that will have wide-reaching effects. That said, it is somewhat relevant because the fact that the Supreme Court did decide in a 5-4 majority to allow for these funds to be released, to allow for a district court judge to force the administration to essentially pay out $2 billion in work that had already been done, has been a little bit surprising to Supreme Court watchers, because we know this is a conservative court that likely will side with broadening executive power to the extent that Trump wants it, right? That's just generally what we see in this court. But the fact that 2 of the conservative justices did decide here with the 3 liberal justices to at least release this funding that the Trump administration so strongly was against is a point that we have to consider. It's something that might give more possibility that they are willing to allow for the executive branch to have limits, Gadi.
I mean, and you said it with the toe in the water here, like, to the big question, if the Supreme Court rules on this, even though it is a very small pinky toe in the water, are they also going to eventually rule on all the other layoffs and the cuts and the budget freezes?
So what we do know is that there's something around 100 lawsuits that have started all around the country. Now, look, we're just at the beginning. So to the extent that Trump did come in and issue so many executive orders halting funding left and right, there is this big constitutional question of, well, isn't Congress through Article 1 technically in charge of the power of the purse? Isn't Congress the branch that's supposed to have the power to decide where our taxpayer dollars should go? So all of this battle is starting to work its way through the courts. Now, this, again, was just about whether or not a temporary restraining order could be followed. It really isn't a big picture, meaning it's not really something that was decided on the merits, but it is certainly a preview, Gadi.
And again, I know that this isn't setting any sort of precedent, but and feel free to rein me back in here. But like, is the precedent here that it does seem like the Supreme Court will have lower court justice or lower court judges' backs on rulings like this, or is that just not in the cards?
No, I think you can actually say that, Gadi, because we saw a dissent here that was so strong from Alito, where he basically said, this is crazy that you guys are allowing for one judge to release $2 billion in payments. But that's not really what that judge was doing, right? That judge was saying Congress has already approved this, so I am just aligning with Congress being the appropriate branch here to hand out the money. But that said, the fact that that the majority did agree to this is somewhat telling, Gadi. So I do think that this is not a straight line to Trump's executive orders always being considered constitutional by this very conservative court, Gadi.
There's the nuance below the headlines. Angela Sinandela, you are so amazing at that. Thank you very much. Turning now to immigration. While the president is touting some of the lowest numbers of illegal crossings and arrests happening at the southern border, how deportations are actually happening is still a very big question mark. And some of the more controversial plans, like sending immigrants to Guantanamo Bay, seem to be hitting a lot of hurdles these days. The plan has been for Guantanamo Bay to hold something like 30,000 migrants. And as of Monday, there aren't hundreds or thousands. There are 20 migrants. And the costs to get them there, well, you know, these C-130s that have been flying from the United States to Gitmo, well, some of them have had like 9 migrants on board. And that is a very big plane. And if you do some number crunching from the DOD, NBC is estimating that the Pentagon spent anywhere from $200,000 to like $250,000 for a round trip alone, which would come down to about $23,000 to $27,000 per detainee. Here to tell us a little bit more about what's happening behind the scenes, our friend Courtney Cubie. So Courtney, check my math there. Is that math right? And in this day of like Doge cuts, like, is this going to continue when everybody's just, you know, using their calculators to find any savings at all?
Yeah, and I have to say, Gadi, you mentioned the C-130. The C-17s are even more expensive. And they go with, again, a few number of migrants. And part of that, frankly, is because each migrant has to have at least one ICE official, often more than that. There's a medical team on board, so they can only have so much space. But the reality is they are going when they are not full, and the C-17s are almost $29,000 per hour to operate back and forth from Texas to Guantanamo. So that gets to your question, Gadi, and that is this going to continue? Well, as of now, the DHS has changed. Most of those flights are now ICE flights, ICE charters. But the reality is there really aren't as many going at all. There hasn't been a military flight since March 1st. There's none scheduled for the rest of this week. The Pentagon's not ruling out that they could do some more, but as of now, they don't have anything on the books to send. And as you mentioned, the president announced 30,000 migrants would ultimately be housed at Gitmo. Right now, there are 20 there. The max that have been there throughout this new program or this new endeavor has been under 200. And those have been a mixture of people at the detention facility and the Migrant Operations Center. The Migrant Operations Center can only hold 50 people. So now you can see what has become very clear to officials we've been speaking with over the last several days is this idea of holding 30,000 people at Guantanamo simply is not the most efficient or effective way for this holding migrants effort that the Trump administration has made clear. In fact, the military set up hundreds of tents to try to hold some of these migrants, and none of the migrants have ever stayed in them, and they aren't allowed to based off of the standards that ICE has set, Gadi.
I'm sorry, I'm still struggling to compute with some of those numbers. So like a peak of 170 some at Gitmo, and then all of them or most of them have been deported, and then you've got migrants that are being sent over from the United States to Gitmo. Is that like just a pit stop on the deportation route now? And isn't it more efficient to just fly them from the United States to whatever country they're being deported to?
Yeah, you're exactly right. That seems to be, look, the president made this announcement that they were going to send thousands of migrants to Gitmo, and the military and DHS have basically worked to make that work. But as you just laid out, it just doesn't make the most sense right now. Now, what we expect that we will see over the coming days and weeks is that the overall mission at Guantanamo is going to be scaled way back. So we may still see migrants sent there who are held at detention facilities. They're what the military and will often refer to as the higher threat individuals. These are people who are supposed to have already been told they have to leave the country. They may have been charged or convicted of a crime, and they are being sent home or sent to another place, presumably for continue to be held in some sort of a facility. But the reality is we have very little information about what actually happens to these people once they're moved on to their follow-on countries, Gadi.
Courtney, we're going to have so many more questions for you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Today, mayors from some of the country's biggest cities spent 6 hours on Capitol Hill pushing back against Republican attacks. Those mayors were being accused of not cooperating with Trump's efforts to arrest and deport undocumented migrants. Take a listen to some of the more fiery exchanges that happened.
Sanctuary cities make us all live safe and are a public safety nightmare. That is why I launched an investigation into sanctuary cities and why these mayors are here today.
And Mayor Adams, I also want to be very clear. Are you selling out New Yorkers to save yourself from prosecution?
There's no deal, no quid pro quo, and I did nothing wrong.
Americans expect us to do more than point fingers. They expect us to solve problems. It seems only fair to ask that the body that is actually charged with solving this national problem, this Congress, can finally commit to do the same.
Now let's bring in Julie Sirkin, who's been following this hearing today. And I just saw on the screen behind you, like you've been on Elon Musk watch at the Capitol. We're going to get to all of that in just a second here. But Julie, before we get to Musk, like pretty fiery exchanges today, but break it down for us. What's at stake here? And does this all just really come down to money, come down to federal funding?
Well, that's the message that the Republican chairman, James Comer, tried to make to those Democratic mayors of Boston, Denver, New York City, all these cities that Republicans are saying and painting as sanctuary cities. Now, I have to say those Democratic mayors defended the policies that they have in those cities. But Comer did make a point. He said you're going to risk missing out on potentially billions of dollars in federal funding if you don't comply with ICE and immigration customs enforcement policies here. Of course, we know that the Trump administration is certainly taking a hard pivot on this, on border security, on deporting those migrants, as you heard Courtney lay out so well. And there were fiery exchanges, but all of the mayors stuck to their lines, defending their policies in those cities, saying that the Trump administration is going after hardworking, tax-paying people who are just looking for a better life and opportunity here, and that they are being scared because of the administration's policies, Gadi.
And Julie, I know you're on Musk watch in the hallway right now. What is the latest on the government's special employee? Like, is he wearing a suit today? And who's he been talking to?
Yeah. He's not wearing a suit. He's wearing a blazer and a T-shirt underneath. Couldn't quite tell what it said, but he just whisked by us. And people threw him questions. We're in this kind of like media row here. We can't chase. I asked him what kind of AI he's using, because as we reported a couple of weeks ago, Musk is using AI, especially in those emails he's sending to federal employees to basically figure out if their jobs are mission critical or not. He actually told me we're not using a lot of AI right now, which was a notable answer because he himself has AI platforms. He was meeting with Republicans in the House tonight. Earlier today, he met with Senate Republicans. They called him here to try and figure out exactly what kind of cuts he's making, where he's looking to cut from. We've been covering those angry town halls all week where Republicans have been holding them in their, by the way, rural and sometimes very red districts, people who voted for Trump. Rich Hudson, who is the chair of the NRCC, he basically is in charge of reelecting Republicans. He defended that and told me that those town halls should now be done virtually, and he blamed Democratic agitators for being the ones to bust open and complain in those town halls, Gadi.
And Julie, one other question, I guess, the definition of the word rescission today, that seems to be a word that is being tossed around a lot out there at Capitol Hill when it comes to Musk and some of the senators that he's meeting with. Like, what is rescission, not recession, but rescission, and what could that do to a lot of these DOGE cuts?
Congress always keeps me on my toes. Rescission package, think of it this way. It's essentially Congress trying to codify those DOGE cuts. It really hasn't been used since the Clinton administration, and that's in large part because Congress doesn't want the executive branch touching the funding that they voted and that they appropriated already. In this case, they want the rescission package to be used to, like I said, codify the DOGE cuts, codify everything that Elon Musk has been doing. We're told when Musk heard about this, he did his little happy dance because he didn't even know this was possible. And the thing that makes this so notable is that they're able to do it with a simple majority, 51 votes, not 60. Senate and House Republicans seem to be very warm in receiving that, but we'll see if it actually happens.
Wait, are you talking figuratively or like literally, like the happy dance? You don't have to demonstrate it, but the one that we all know from all the memes?
The one that we all know from all the memes. I didn't see it myself. It was a closed-door meeting, but that's what senators told us.
Yeah, Julie Sirkin reporting from Congress. Julie, thank you. And here's some other headlines that we're watching tonight. Congressman Sylvester Turner has passed away. The Texas Democrat was just 2 months into his first term, and colleagues say he suffered a medical emergency after attending President Trump's address to Congress just last night. The former Houston mayor previously had cancer. Turner was 70 years old. The two hackers have been charged with stealing $635,000 in Taylor Swift tickets. It's a ticket scheme. The prosecutors say they stole and resold some 900 tickets or so by hacking into a computer system belonging to StubHub. And that started in 2022. They're also alleged to have done it with the NBA games and concerts for Adele and Ed Sheeran. And exciting news today here at NBC. Our good friend and colleague Tom Yamas is going to be replacing Lester Holt as the next anchor of NBC Nightly News. Lester announced he was leaving last month after a decade in that chair, and Tom will continue anchoring Top Story here on NBC News Now while also hosting Nightly starting this summer. Congratulations, Tom. And Disney is slashing around 200 jobs at ABC News in their entertainment division. The news organization announced the consolidation of multiple teams, including shows like Good Morning America and 2020. The data-driven news brand and website 538 will also be shut down. And LeBron James is making history, officially becoming the first NBA player ever to score 50,000 points. He reached that milestone last night, and after the game, he responded by saying, "That's a hell of a lot of points." Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Up next, a monster storm swooping across the country is leaving destruction in its wake, from tornadoes to blinding snow and fierce winds. Kathy Park is on the ground tracking the aftermath. Hey there, welcome back. It has been nearly 2 months since those devastating fires swept across parts of Los Angeles, and rebuilding is slowly getting underway. But for those families where homes survived, they're dealing with their own set of problems. Smoke damage is making buildings unsafe to go back to, and it's igniting frustrations over insurance claims. NBC's Liz Kreutz explains.
We built the house. We put every dollar we had into it.
Ian Hardcastle seems like one of the lucky ones.
I was shocked that it's still here.
His Pacific Palisades home survived the devastating LA fires.
This is the plaque.
The tree he and his wife Veronica planted in memory of their late baby girl Charlie, remarkably still standing.
We like to think that she was kind of looking over our house in the neighborhood, and that's the reason why it's still here.
But their home, far from habitable. Inside, black ash covering nearly every surface.
Okay, so these hygienists have been testing for fire emissions in the air, carcinogens, gases, because it's not just about this visible ash that we see here around the home. It's also about the toxins that we can't see.
Toxic debris expert Don Bolstad-Johnson says anything porous is likely tainted.
We're in the nursery. What are the concerns, though?
So the concerns that I have is we're finding hydrogen cyanide gas in here.
Do you suggest someone move back into this home as it is right now?
No, not with what I'm seeing right now, no.
But the Hardcastles, who are now in a rental with their 1-year-old and another on the way, say their insurance, the California Fair Plan, doesn't appear to see it that way.
They sent us a document unprovoked that basically pointed to language saying that smoke damage will only be covered if something is ruined and destroyed, visible to the eye.
What that could mean, hundreds of thousands in out-of-pocket expenses, replacing everything from the drywall to furniture, even your clothes.
But the insurance company kind of treats you like the forgotten stepchild.
They just say, it looks okay.
Yeah, it's just dirty.
Dirty.
Clean it.
Clean. And the Hardcastles are not alone. Thousands of other fire victims also rely on the FAIR Plan, the state's insurer of last resort, a plan that in 2022 was found by the state's Department of Insurance to have been illegally underpaying or denying smoke damage claims, findings the FAIR Plan disputes. Attorney Dylan Schaffer has litigated against the FAIR Plan for years.
And California FAIR Plan takes the position that the family, which includes very, very young children, should move back into this house and clean it themselves. So his options are essentially accept the loss of hundreds of thousands of dollars or hire me and file a lawsuit, which nobody wants to do.
Or the other option, move back into a home that could make you or your family sick.
Will make him sick.
Ian is hoping the test results from inside his home will sway his insurer. But just this week, he received this initial estimate for remediation, roughly $1,800, money he won't get because it's within his deductible.
We don't want to live in a house that poisons us.
The California Fair Plan declined to comment on the Hardcastle's case, but in a statement said the Fair Plan pays all covered claims, including smoke claims, consistent with California law, and that our policy and approach to direct physical loss is consistent with other insurers.
Fair Plan is an outlier by a very, very big distance. They believe that these homes are not damaged. State Farm and Liberty Mutual and USAID, they will acknowledge that the homes are damaged, and then the question becomes what they pay.
For now, the Hardcastle's left in limbo, questioning how they'll be able to get back to the home that means so much.
And we want to come back when it's safe to come back.
Yeah.
We don't know when that will be.
I mean, and such a beautiful home. Liz joins us now on the set. Liz, first, before we get into all this, just reset for us. What is the FAIR program? How long has it been around, and what's it supposed to do here?
Yeah, so the FAIR Plan has been around for a long time, but it's only really in recent years, as we've had these mega fires and all these issues with insurance, it's become the insurance that a lot of people, it's the only option for them. It basically is the insurance of last resort. It's a state-backed plan. Really, all of the insurance companies pay into it. But essentially, it is the only option for many people in California right now because so many of the main private insurers are pulling out of the state out of concerns of situations like we saw, wildfires. So for this family, this was their only option. The problem is it's not really great coverage. And they are now, as that lawyer said, seeming to deny them what they believe they're owed for the smoke damage.
Yeah, and again, I mean, just to have all your stuff so close and to not be able to go home because it's not safe, it's crazy. Meanwhile, here in L.A., everybody is talking about this whole thing between Mayor Bass, the fire chief who was trying to get her job back. I understand that the city council has put the X-nay on that. What's the latest?
Yeah, so yesterday there was this really kind of dramatic moment at the city council meeting where Chief Crowley, the fire chief, who's been in sort of this contentious clashes with Mayor Bass since the fires, she got fired. She came before the city council to try to appeal that decision. Firefighter after firefighter came up and spoke at the podium saying, please give her job back. She made the appeal herself. Ultimately, the city council decided and voted that the mayor has the legal right to fire her and dismiss her from that position. But it all goes back to the beginning of these fires when there was just the back and forth contention over sort of putting blame on who's responsible for the response, with the mayor sort of saying that the fire chief didn't alert her or her staff ahead of time to these conditions, which ultimately she says, no, we did, and kind of gave receipts. So
yeah, I have a feeling that is not anywhere over yet.
No.
Liz Kreutz, thank you very much. And a deadly winter storm is trekking across the country, hitting the Midwest to the south into the Northeast with all kinds of severe weather. The biggest threat tonight is winds up to 70 miles per hour, flooding, even tornadoes. Check out these blizzard-like conditions in Michigan. Heavy snow and wind making driving an absolute nightmare. Imagine driving through that. Forecasters warned winds up to 60 miles an hour were possible from Missouri to Iowa. That same system causing scenes like this across the South. In Mississippi, winds yanked roofs completely off, knocked down homes. At least 3 people have been killed because of weather there. At least 10 tornadoes were confirmed yesterday, 7 alone in Oklahoma. Tens of thousands of people are without power tonight from Texas to New York. And Kathy Park joins us now from Wayne County, Mississippi. Kathy, what are you seeing on the ground there?
Gadi, good evening to you. So we are seeing pockets of damage. We are in Wayne County, which is just about 2 hours outside of Jackson, Mississippi. And this is some of the damage that we are seeing right now. This home completely destroyed. You can see the frame is barely hanging on. We're actually on a working farm. So we have machinery, heavy machinery, just that they've been tossed around this property. And Gadi, I want to point something else out to you. Part of this home actually ended up in a pool, which is right in front of me. I know it's getting a little dark right now, but the damage is quite widespread. They have 30,000 chickens on this property. There was some infrastructure damage, and they're going to eventually have to remove all the poultry in the coming days. But this is kind of what we're seeing across Mississippi. And earlier, we had a chance to speak with the homeowner. She mentioned that yesterday they were wrapping up dinner around 5, 6 o'clock last night, and then they got alerts on their phones warning them that a tornado was headed this way, and then the power cut off, and then they got to their safe space. Here's what happened next. Take a listen.
It had taken the whole roof off, but we didn't know that at the time. And this had all fallen down. There was an island here, And apparently we got a new sky roof over there. And this is the carport. We first tried to go out this door, and there was no way. You can't play around with these tornadoes at all. They're so dangerous.
Yeah, Gadi, you can't play around with it because, you know, this is just the unpredictability of Mother Nature. And adding insult to injury, this community is reeling from another tornado that struck the community just a couple of weeks ago. That was an EF3, damaged dozens of homes. And we are just getting word from the National Weather Service that this was confirmed to be an EF2 tornado.
Wow. And yet the wind is starting to howl on your microphone there. I mean, like, this storm has been making its trek across a huge part of the country over the last few days. Has today been as bad as the past couple of days? And the weather that you're seeing right now, like, is that expected to get any worse?
Yeah, so fortunately, Gadi, the severe weather threat has moved out of this area. You know, we are getting blown around here. We have some gusty conditions, but we are tracking some just showers as well as some wind gusts in the mid-Atlantic. But we know that the severe weather threats are expiring as the storm finally pushes off the eastern seaboard. But yeah, this is something that we have been tracking pretty much all week. It had a little bit of everything. It spawned tornadoes. Of course, there were blizzards in the Midwest that we were tracking yesterday. And of course, those fire dangers as well. Gadi?
The destruction is hard to believe. Our thoughts go out to those families. Kathy Park, thank you. And coming up, Trump continues to play hardball with Ukraine, now cutting off intelligence sharing with that country. A deeper dive on what that all means ahead. But first, you got to see this. A Florida man was arrested for stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from Tiffany & Company. Then he swallowed them. You can see the suspect here looking at the jewelry after telling the staff he represented a professional athlete. But when they looked away, the man booked it with those jewels, driving from the scene. Police tracked him down, but he resisted arrest and swallowed the $700,000 earrings. I guess he was craving, I don't know, some breakfast at Tiffany's. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. The U.S. has now cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine right after cutting off military aid to the country. And Trump's national security advisor and CIA director talked about that earlier today.
President Zelensky put out a statement saying, I'm ready for peace, and I want Donald Trump's leadership to bring about that peace. And so I think on the military front and the intelligence front, the pause that allowed that to happen, I think, will go away.
I think if we can nail down these negotiations and move towards these negotiations and, in fact, put some confidence-building measures on the table, then the president will take a hard look at lifting this pause.
So what's this going to mean for Ukraine? Let's bring in Robert English, director of the School of International Relations at the University of Southern California here. Dr. English, thank you so much for being with us. How big of a blow is all of this to Ukraine right now?
Well, it's an enormous blow. The arms cut off, we know how crippling that is. And even those arms that are already in the warehouses that are on the way to the front that haven't been halted, they need that intelligence support. Without American satellite and drone surveillance technology, without the targeting of information, they are far less effective in finding and striking Russian troop or command and warehouse deployments. They need that targeting information badly.
Without a lot of this intelligence, do you think that we're going to see large, I don't know, areas, large territories that are ceded or are taken by Russian troops? I mean, this has been a very contentious war with all the intelligence, with the assistance from the United States. What are these last few days going to be when it comes to, like, the lines drawn in the sand there?
I don't think anybody, certainly not the Ukrainians and not our European allies, but I don't think even the White House wants to see a sudden setback and loss of huge chunks of territory by the Ukrainians. The Trump administration officials are playing hardball, but they're also signaling, as we saw in those clips before, that as soon as they get Zelensky sitting down again, signing the minerals deal and agreeing to a broad framework in Trump's vision, that it'll all be resumed and the pause will be over. And that's what everyone's hoping for. Trump is winning for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Macron today said that Europe must be ready to defend Ukraine without U.S. assistance. How much stock do you put in Europe actually stepping up here and filling the void?
You know, after the blow-up at the White House, Zelensky headed straight for the UK and for a meeting with all the main European leaders. And the hope was they would step in. And certainly they did that verbally, they did that rhetorically and symbolically, a very warm welcome and a lot of encouraging words. But behind the scenes, they were telling Zelensky, you got to make up with Trump. We are not capable of filling the United States' shoes. The volume of weapons they can deliver, the sophistication of American missiles, air defense systems, and so on are superior to ours. And we don't even have the supplies. We don't have sufficient numbers, even of inferior weapons. And that was all before the cutoff of intelligence that's necessary to make missiles strike their targets. Zelensky, in other words, privately heard that he has to make up with Trump, that Trump is in the driver's seat on this, and there really isn't a European alternative in the short run. They can't create a defense industry overnight.
And it seems like maybe the message was received. Trump last night talked about a letter that Zelensky had sent him, talking about coming back to the table for peace negotiations. Again, with the war raging right now, logistically, like how many days, how many hours before they are at the table? Can this be done remotely? What are we looking like at a timeline here?
A matter of a few days. I'm sure that working level officials are talking now, you know, deputy secretaries of state and defense, and they're aiming at a principals meeting within a few days, at the end of this week or the beginning of next, before the aid cutoff really cripples Ukraine. We've got a couple of weeks here before the impact on the battlefield is truly crippling, but it's coming quickly. It's really looming over, and the Ukrainians are simply learning that they have no choice. Trump is strong-arming them, and he's winning.
No choice, and they are running out of time so quickly. Professor Robert English, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And let's take a quick look around the world. There's a day of mourning in Pakistan after twin suicide bombings targeted an army base there. 18 people were killed. 42 others were hurt. A militant group that's linked to the Pakistani Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack. Today, hundreds filled the streets for joint funeral services held at a sports complex. Meanwhile, out in Brazil, it's morphin' time for the police. Dozens of cops camouflage themselves in Power Ranger costumes during Carnival to arrest pickpockets. Sao Paulo officials say this week 6 people have been arrested and 23 stolen cell phones have been recovered. And in Denmark, one artist is catching heat for a controversial exhibition which involved the planned starvation of 3 little piglets. The artist said it was to protest against Denmark's pork industry, but the 3 little piggies never actually met their maker. Turns out a fellow co-artist sneakily saved the little piggies and contacted an animal rights group. And dolphins just don't fall out of the sky, do they? Well, apparently in New Zealand one did, and it weighed 900 pounds. It was a fishing trip with the boys. It turned into a crazy story for 3 men when an 11-foot bottlenose dolphin jumped into their boat. Dolphin snapped every single fishing rod they had, damaging the bow. And luckily, no one was badly hurt other than the boat there. The men alerted a conservation agency that helped return that dolphin to the ocean using a tractor. Coming up, we are taking a closer look at new findings that synthetic hair contains dangerous cancer-causing chemicals, leaving a lot of people concerned that their protective hairstyles may not be so protective after all. That's after the break.
So you're telling me all these years we've been wearing braids, thinking it's a protective hairstyle, thinking we're growing our hair, thinking we're doing something good for our hair, all to come to find out that braiding hair causes cancer.
We cannot even just do our hair in a safe way that is cheap, affordable.
And this is honestly scary for us Black women because, you know, like, braids are a part of our culture. You see, I got braids in right now. I want to take them out now hearing this.
So messed up, right? A lot of black women have used synthetic hair and braids, extensions, countless of other hairstyles for decades. And you might hear the words protective style when they're talking about it, meaning to strengthen and grow the hair, as you just heard in some of those videos. But there's a new report that has a lot of people thinking twice, saying some of the most popular brands of synthetic hair contain dangerous chemicals, including lead, leaving a lot of people wondering just how protective those styles really are. NBC News daily anchor Zincle Eswa has more. Hey, Zincle.
Hey there. Making headlines right now are new findings from Consumer Reports, which tested 10 synthetic hair products created by multiple companies. What they found is that 100% of those products contain carcinogens, and in 9 out of 10, they found lead, and in 100% of the products, they found volatile organic compounds. This has many now calling for federal limits on lead and other potentially harmful chemicals in synthetic braiding hair. To date, there are no FDA regulations on synthetic braiding hair at all. We reached out to the Environmental Working Group for further analysis on these findings, and they told us in part that while most of these products are below the FDA standard for lead contamination in cosmetics, when possible, exposure to lead should be avoided. Of course, all of this matters because synthetic hair has long been a staple as a protective style for black women, like braids, locks, twists, and wigs. They're often considered protective because they can be worn for weeks at a time, protecting hair from breakage, exposure to the elements, or excessive heat styling. But some health experts now also worry that the extended wear can translate to longer exposure to potentially toxic chemicals. One woman, Crystal Thomas, is a medical student who published commentary about this issue in an academic journal, and that largely sparked these broader findings. Take a listen.
About 2 years ago, I decided to get braids for the first time in over a decade. And I was really excited about it at first, but as the day went on, I realized there was this unbearable smell. As I kept smelling this, my throat tightened up. It felt very dry, and I noticed my hair was itching, and it was just difficult to breathe overall. After a week of continuous washing, I said, seeing that the smell didn't go away, I said, you know what? I'm getting rid of these. As consumers, we implicitly want to believe that the products we purchase are safe. That's not always the case. Black women are at a higher risk for uterine fibroids, for more aggressive breast cancers, and so on. Is exposure to these products a contributing factor or not?
We did reach out to all of the brands referenced by Consumer Reports and did not ultimately hear back. But prior, Kaneka, which is the creator of the product Crystal used, told Consumer Reports in part that they manufacture the Kanekalon fibers that are used in hair products, but not the final product. They also said they would need more information to analyze that specific complaint. For now, there is a new petition Consumer Reports started calling on the FDA to investigate synthetic braiding hair and to set some strict standards for these products. So a lot more to come on this story. Back to you.
Zincle, thank you. And before we go, it is time for the future of everything. There's a new era of exoskeletons. It's all about putting a little extra pep in your step. And we're talking to the guy who got to take it for a stroll.
It's nothing fancy. No back support, no knee support. It just makes every step easier. Anybody want robot legs? Today I'm toying with the exoskeleton I wore to the world's largest tech show. I don't mean I tried it on. I walked the floors of Las Vegas putting this hypershell to the test.
Yep, that is the Hypershell Pro X with the sleek design and the ability to have something called max speed assistance that moves you about 13 miles an hour insane. So let's bring in the man behind the exoskeleton, senior editor at Verge, Sean Hollister. First off, Sean, so incredibly jealous. Like, what does it feel like to wear?
Well, it's quite a bit more comfortable than devices like this I've tried in the past. I mean, at a previous CES, the big tech show in Las Vegas every year, I'd put on one that's designed for like a medical orderly lifting a patient. I'd put on things, big hulking things. And this here, it's slim, it's form-fitting. You put on this belt and then it just goes around your legs and lifts each of them in turn to help you walk easier for longer distances.
I mean, when I'm looking at it, it looks like something that you could just use for your everyday walk or run. But like, what are the applications here? You were talking about an orderly people maybe work in construction. What are they marketing this to right now?
Yeah, so this is one of a new breed of consumer exoskeletons. Up till now, it's been something, maybe you'd see it on the assembly line, maybe you'd see it in the hospital, but these ones are designed for hikers, they say. It's supposed to put a little more pep in your step. It's supposed to extend your outdoor adventures. And so ahead of the show, I thought, hey, we've tried so many of these exoskeletons at CS, but I've never really lived with one. What if I put it to the test at the show? So I walked down the casinos of Las Vegas, the conference halls of Las Vegas, with this on my body during the week. I tried with it, I tried without it. I went a couple whole days with this thing on at a time, and I found that it was just, it made me less tired than I would be otherwise. It's got a couple of hip-mounted motors that lift each of your legs, and they say it reduces your exertion by 30%. It's like you're wearing less on your body as a result, even though it's, technically it's adding about 5 pounds to your load.
Wow. And 12 to 13 miles an hour, like that's kind of a run, right? Did you go jogging with it? Does it feel jolty, or is it a pretty smooth run?
Yeah, it doesn't actually make you feel all that much faster. You have to lift your legs the same way, and you're putting the same amount of weight on each of your feet at the end of the day. So my feet were just as tired. But what I found is, you ever do one of those really long strides that you're power walking? Every single time you move your leg, you're extending it as far as it can go to try and get somewhere faster. Well, normally, if I were to do that for a whole mile at a stretch, I'd probably be a little sweaty at the end. I'm not in the best shape. I do okay, but I'm not in the best shape. With this, I can do that entire mile without feeling like I'm power walking. I just feel like I'm walking.
It sounds like almost like when you get on the, the movable escalator thing at the airport, and all of a sudden you're walking faster than everybody, but you're still walking. Do you think that we're going to start to see these
everywhere? It's a heck of a lot like that. And
yeah. I mean, I remember when
it's a heck of a lot like that powered escalator. And the e-bike, I think it's a great comparison to the e-bikes. It's one of those things where you can do this anyway. You can pedal. Most people can pedal a bike. Certainly, there are folks who could absolutely use the extra assist to get around. It's the same with these exoskeletons, in that if you want to add that set of motors to it, you can get that extra boost.
Oh, my gosh. Sean, I hope you have the hookup. Please bring one of those when you get them to L.A. so we can go for a little Runyon hike. Sean Hollister, literally stepping into the future. Thanks so much for being with us tonight, brother. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here tomorrow. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.